Hi everyone. How are you doing this evening? Awesome. So, my son, he turns 18. So I do the right thing and I take him down for him to sign up for the selective service. You know, the draft. Then a few months later, he comes running up to me and he says, "Hey Dad, guess what?" I said, "You didn't get your girlfriend pregnant, did you?" He's like, "Dad, no." I said, "Well, that's good because I taught you better than that." He then proceeds to tell me that he got his voting card in the mail today. And I'm like, all right, here's another young person deciding the fate of my future by who he elects into office. A few months more go by, and my son comes running into the house again, and he's screaming, "Dad, Dad, guess what? Guess what?" And before I could say anything, he blurts out, "I proposed to my girl, and she said yes. We're getting married." "You got her pregnant, didn't you? That's a forced marriage." He's like, "Dad, no, she's not pregnant. You taught me better than that." So let's recap. He's 18. He's registered to draft. He can vote. And now he's getting married and possibly have a family. 18 years old. Now a few more months go by, and here he comes running again. "Dad, Dad, Dad." So I'm thinking, oh, great. She's pregnant for sure this time. He saw the look on my face. He says, "No, Dad, she's not pregnant. You taught me better than that." I decided to enlist in the Marine Corps. I said, "Wow, that is great, son." Being that I'm a retired veteran myself, this was a proud moment for me. So I told him, "Let's go to town. We'll have a little talk and have a beer and to..." Oh, wait a minute. He's only 18. I cannot go and have a drink with my son. So he's registered for the draft, able to vote for our great democracy. He can get married, start a family, join our military to fight for our country's freedom, and Lord forbid, if he committed a felony, he'd be sentenced for life. Or yet worse than that, it could be the death penalty. All at the age of 18. But I cannot have a beer with him. So what gives? Why does this not make sense to me? I did some research on this matter. And there's an article by Khalid Dunlop with the BU Today. And he's made some interesting facts about the drinking age limit. For much of the 20th century, the legal drinking age in the United States had a bumpy ride. And after Prohibition in 1933, you had to be 21 to go up to the bar. And during the height of the Vietnam War, 18 was your ticket to a six-pack. But the late 70s came around, the drinking age was all over the map. I mean, literally. Some various states were tacking on the extra here and the extra there, year there. So finally, in 1984, the federal government, backed by Mothers Against Drunk Driving, MAD, ordered all 50 states to raise the legal drinking age to 21 years old age. That suffered a 10%, if they didn't do this, they would suffer a 10% cut in their annual federal highway dollars. And by 1987, every governor had complied according to the MAD and the National Minimum Drinking Age Act. They say that it has saved 17,000 lives on the highway since 1988. The issue caught fire in 2004 again when a former Middlebury College president, John McCardell, he alarmed at the intensity of underage drinking, particularly on the college campuses, and wrote a New York Times article that the called current drinking age was bad social policy and a terrible law. They argue that the current law had driven the underage boozing underground and into dangerous territories. And according to the Annual Review of Public Health, as referenced on the CR's website, alcohol annually contributes to some 1,700 deaths. 600,000 of those were injuries, and 97,000 cases of sexual assault. All these are among college students, mind you. Attaching venerable numbers to real progress is tricky business. And MAD claims the higher drinking age is responsible for a decline in annual alcohol-related deaths from 26,000 in 1982 to 17,000 in 2005. And is counted by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration that alcohol-related fatalities were dropping more than highway deaths where booze was not a factor. Think about that, not a factor. Opponents point out that their definition of alcohol-related deaths includes fatalities involving any measurable amount of alcohol in any person involved, including pedestrians. They're not even driving. According to an article on CNN.com by Jackie Wilson, there are different views and statistics that many underage students on his campus will drink. But he has noticed a sort of understanding between policies and those drinkers that are under 21. The police don't often leave you alone. He said as long as you aren't causing trouble, they will not come bother you. Alyssa Griffith, an Ohio University senior, said perhaps that is why the drinking age should be lowered to 18 or even 19. It would simply be easier on everyone when only half of the college population can drink. A lot of valuable resources are wasted trying to enforce the law. She said it would lessen the stress on the local bars. There could be judiciaries who would be dealing with real crimes, and it would be easier on the administration. As a paramedic, Austin Freeman, he has seen more drunk driving accidents than he can remember. But he says the age of those drunken drivers span anywhere from the ages 18 to 80. That makes them irresponsible, he said. Age has nothing to do with it. There are some pros and cons, and they are listed by a website. It's called drinkingageprocon.org. Now, 18 is the age of adulthood, and that's in the United States. And adults should have the right to make their own decisions about alcohol consumption. Turning 18 entails receiving the rights and responsibilities of adulthood to vote, smoke, serve on juries, get married, sign contracts, be prosecuted, and join the military. All these include risking one's life. And allowing 18 to 20-year-olds to drink alcohol in regulated environments with supervision would decrease unsafe drinking activity. Prohibiting this age group from drinking in bars and restaurants and other licensed locations causes them to drink in unsupervised places, such as fraternity houses, house parties. This is where they could be more prone to binge drinking and other unsafe behaviors. Traffic accidents and fatalities are most common among newly legal drinkers. Legal drinkers, regardless of the MILDA Act. In 2009, the 21 to 24-year-old age group had the highest percentage of drivers and of fatal crashes with blood alcohol concentration. Some of these levels of 0.08 or higher. 35% any increase of traffic accidents or fatalities from the 18 to 20-year-olds would be offset by the decrease for those that are 21 and older. Some cons might be that the MILDA 21 Act laws reduce the number of underage drinking. The percentage of underage drinkers has decreased since 1984. That's when the most MILDA 21 laws came into effect. Studies indicate that when the drinking age is 21, those younger than 21 drink less and continue to drink less. This is through their early 20s that the youth who do not drink until they are 21 tend to drink as adults, less as adults. The American public overwhelmingly supports the MILDA Act 21. 2007 Gallup poll said that 77% of Americans would oppose the federal law that lowers the drinking age to all states of 18. Numerous states and national surveys dating from the 70s, when the states were rising in drinking age, through the present have shown overwhelming public support for this Middle to 21 Act. Lowering the Middle to 21 Act would give high schoolers and even middle schoolers easier access to alcohol. Newly legal drinkers, they often purchase alcohol for their underage peers, creating that trickle-down effect. But surveys show that most common source of alcohol among 18 to 20-year-olds, it relates to their 21 to 24-year-old peers. I think that a soldier who is prepared to die for their country should be able to hoist a limitation while serving their country. A common theme for a memorial salute is for a fallen comrade is to drink a set at the bar as a token of his memory. How ironic if such tokens are left for our fallen that they cannot actually legally go and drink to their memory. Are 18-year-olds mature? In the military, there is a dedication process to train and create professional warriors. Anyone who has subjected themselves voluntarily to this kind of shaping is arguably more mature than a peer who has not made that same decision. The argument is that allowing 18 to 20-year-olds to drink will increase the disruptions on military installations, erode discipline, and cause a host of problems beyond those up to including death, either by drinking and driving or other acts of stupidity that are alcohol related. All this undoubtedly is part of the risk. But those problems exist currently in the military and outside it, and they're compounded by the additional charge of underage drinking and collateral damage for those that contributed to the delinquency. I don't have a solution, but I do believe that the problem can be overcome with a bit of leadership. The military has leadership, of course, but there are several problems from the outset. The problem that increases the risk of potential negative behavior deals in a major part to a disfranchisement. And with military service by soldiers, we put weapons in the hands of 18-year-olds and we send them off to war to fight for their life and death decisions, and they make life and death decisions. They kill, they die, but they are not trusted with the responsibility of alcohol. These are my points. And if we are going to let 18-year-olds be responsible in all other aspects of life, such as marriage, voting, fighting for our freedom, then they deserve to have the chance of being responsible of managing their drinking. Or we change the age of everything else to 21. And then we can continue to nurture our youth of being incapable of adulthood, incapable of their responsibilities. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and have a great night. Bye-bye.